Hello, I'm Shiela Cancino. In this reflection, we're going to explore a really critical point in any leader's journey, that place where personal relationships and professional responsibility meet. Success often brings challenges you just don't see coming, especially when it's about managing people.
Dale Carnegie really hit on a fundamental truth of leadership here. The real test isn't just about managing projects or hitting targets, it's about navigating the incredibly complex emotional landscape of your team, and that gets so much harder when those professional lines start to blur.
I learned this lesson the hard way. I honestly used to believe that creating a family-like atmosphere at work was the best way to go. But experience taught me something very different. In a leadership position, that kind of approach, well, it can completely compromise your clarity. It creates a personal and professional strain that's just not sustainable. It was a lesson that really forced me to redefine what boundaries even meant.
Now, this wasn't some abstract concept I read in a book. It was earned through a very specific set of challenges. This story really begins with an assignment I had in Hong Kong, where I was asked to manage a team of colleagues who, over time, became very close friends.
So in Hong Kong, that close-knit team put me in a really difficult position when it came to performance reviews. I was constantly caught between friendship and my professional duties. After that, as a subject matter expert back in the Philippines, I was always on. That became a habit, one that carried over when I built a whole new department from the ground up for a global company. Being constantly available eventually led to a strategic opportunity in India, which in turn expanded my influence. And finally, when it came time to develop my successor in Manila, I truly understood just how critical clear, objective feedback really is. Every single one of these steps was a lesson in balancing that human connection with professional duty.
In this moment, this really captures the personal cost of it all. Building that new department meant I had to be available across all sorts of time zones. My mother's visit ended up being a real turning point. Seeing her get emotional at 3 in the morning because I was still working, it made it so clear how unsustainable my approach was. It was obvious that without boundaries, I was paying a price that deeply worried the people who cared about me the most.
These experiences weren't just a series of tough events. They were the data points, really, that led me to 3 key realizations about what it means to lead effectively. Let's dig into the first one.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. Strong relationships, as long as you handle them correctly, are a powerful strategic asset. My proposal to migrate tasks to India was approved for one simple reason: management trusted me. And that trust wasn't just there, it was built on a foundation of proven performance and just reliable communication. That short-term assignment in India ended up being one of the direct factors that led to my promotion to vice president. So influence isn't just about what you know, it's about who trusts you to execute.
This takes us right back to that central conflict. The difficulty I had during performance calibrations in Hong Kong was a direct result of those blurred lines. My friendships created an emotional conflict that just clouded the professional objectivity I needed for the role. See, clear, respected boundaries aren't about being cold or distant. They're about preserving the clarity you absolutely need to make fair and effective decisions for your team and for the business. And this perfectly illustrates the final lesson. My real growth as a leader happened when I learned how to separate my personal feelings from my professional responsibilities. It's about understanding that your role might require you to make decisions that are tough but necessary. And doing that doesn't mean you don't respect or care for your team as individuals. It's a very disciplined kind of emotional maturity.
So these realizations weren't just standalone lessons. They actually marked a pretty significant shift in my professional journey, which I now see as part of a much larger framework.
In what I call the pawn to queen framework, this whole journey really signifies the move into stage 3, which is strategic positioning. This is the point where you stop just performing a role and you start intentionally designing your influence. When I started developing my teams in both India and the Philippines, I wasn't just doing my job anymore. I was building capacity in other people. And that's an early trait of the final queen stage, where leadership becomes less about your own achievements and more about multiplying your impact through others.
This entire reflection on my experience ultimately leads to one single question. It's a question that I think is essential for any leader who's trying to navigate the complexities of their role.
So, I'll just leave you with this to think about. In your own professional life, with your own team, where are the lines getting a little blurry? Where might a lack of boundaries be compromising your objectivity, your energy, or even just your ability to lead effectively? Where do you need stronger boundaries? Not to create distance, but to protect your clarity.